that deals with African Americans in the performing arts. That's another collection which I have over. So everything dealing with African American performing arts, music, jazz, dance, and you will see a lot of those folks, including all our Motown.
Today in the library, we are looking at old history from Detroit and trying to find buildings, people, and family to put into our own videos.
The way I became a part of DAFT was my director of communications when I was in college. Her name is Jody Gaber. She invited me. I have a background in media communication, and she thought that I would be a great person to be able to help you guys out.
I found a few census books, a lot of books where you can find about wars and memoirs. And looking through these books, if you keep going, you could probably find a lot of people that you didn't know about that played a really important part in Detroit's history.
The most interesting thing I saw was this whole area within the Detroit Public Library. I feel that it was very interesting, relating to the fact that I had no idea it was even here. It's a completely new area for me, and I feel that it's a very good chance to learn something new.
I want to find something about my family's history, and I hope I can find it one day.
What I feel is important in the Detroit community, besides art, is the culture in Detroit, the history of Detroit. Knowing the history, people understand better where they came from or why things are the way they are now.
Well, today we are interviewing one of the participants' grandparents, and I'm getting B-roll of the house while others are doing A-roll and interviews, and we're filming.
Jobs were plentiful, people, I mean, all these vacant plants you see nowadays and stuff like that, those weren't there, those were working. People were working. When you've got kids that, how would you say, don't have guidance, ain't no telling what's gonna happen. Sports. I think that's what, if anything, that saved me, because I was going down a path that wasn't, that most of you guys probably wouldn't go down.
And my dad had lost his job working for the Southern Railroad in Georgia. That's where I was born. And I wondered when we got here, because it did snow, and I had never saw snow down in Georgia. And I asked my mother, why did you bring us to this place? I bowled with Motown people. I didn't bowl with all of them, but I used to fill in, and I bowled on the team where Barry Gordy's father was on the team with me. They call him Pops.
I wanted to be a part of community album because I enjoy film, and I would like to learn a lot more so that when I get older, I'll be able to be a better film director, and so that when I do documentaries, I already know how to do B-roll, A-roll, and I'll be able to do my job very well, and plus it's fun, so.
So here in Avalon Village, I guess you can say I'm a land developer. What I've decided to do was to repurpose a blighted and vacant and abandoned block in Highland Park, Michigan, between Woodward and 2nd on Avalon Street, and build a village. And we did a Kickstarter, and my goal was $241,900. That was the goal. And as you know, with Kickstarter, you got to make that money or else you don't get any at all. It's not like GoFundMe where you'll be able to get a little bit. So I said that we need about that much to at least start the village. And we ended up, the Kickstarter was 30 days, and we raised $243,691 in 30 days.
From the South, I was from Kentucky.
Right.
Yeah, in the coal mining town in Harlan, Kentucky. He was a gospel singer. So I was there, so I met him there. He had just getting out of the service. What happened, we had a power outage at my house, and I went over to the church where they were singing at, and so I met him there. That's how I met him.
So sweet.
My father was a railroad worker, so he moved to up in this area, so the family moved from Texas to Flint, Michigan. Me, when I came, I was always a commuter back and forth to Detroit, working with some of the Motown acts, you know, like the Marvelettes. The Temptations was called the Primes, and it wasn't a Temptation, they were the Primes, managed by a lady named Johnny Mae Matthews. And that record, Johnny Mae, was the one that they dedicated to her. Little Stevie, what we call him, Wonder, he's from Saginaw. And those are people that I knew every day, I worked with every day.
Okay, what we're going to do is, one of the things, GPR produced a lot of its own programs, including a lot of original shows. And at one time, the station had 5 different ethnic programs on the air. There was a Greek talk show, a Polish dance show. Those were some of, and even on the weekends, on Saturdays, they had live wrestling. Ooh. Oh yeah.
Well, I actually started off in television. I was working as a technician for TV, and then I eventually started to produce shows, direct shows. I did that at Channel 4, and then when this television station, WGPR, which was the very first Black-owned and operated television station in the entire country, came on air, they asked me to come over and be their executive producer. And as the executive producer, I began to organize the production of various television programs. I had the good fortune of meeting a gentleman who was a manager at Wayne State University, and he had interest in producing a Black television show, and he had been introduced to me, and he knew that I was a producer because I was producing records at that time, and he asked me to join in with him to produce this TV show, a television show called Take to Black. And I started working with him. I started off with just kind of helping him arrange productions, and then eventually I ended up directing the program.
William Banks was a prominent entrepreneur and businessman before the station went on the air. So he owned property in and around Detroit. In order to go on the air, he had to raise $3 million. But he was also an attorney and a businessman. So he was very successful, and he owned the radio station as well. But he felt that broadcast television is where people look to see themselves. And he looked around and said, I don't see us on television. I don't see African American faces. I don't see ethnic people on television. It was through trial and working through it and practicing and learning on the job and being mentored by others that I was able to cultivate, skills for being on camera and being behind the scenes. We hope to eventually do some workshops and broadcasting here so that we can provide practical experience. Although students get as much as you're doing today, you go out, you have good instructors, and you get field experience. That's the best way to learn.
My name is Lavelle Mathis. This house is old, small, but full of memories. This house is where my mother and aunt grew up in 43 years ago. My cousins, my siblings, and I all grew up there too. This is my grandparents' house.
Hi, I'm Brick Snow, and this is my church. This church is big, grand, and sturdy. It's hard to miss driving down the street. The parking lot was big enough to throw parties. This church is around the corner.
Hi, my name is Danae. This house is huge, secretive, and beautiful. It is a craftsman's bungalow. The porch is huge with windows peeking through. This house is still standing strong in a sea of blight. This house is brown, made from brick and wood. This house has a garage that matches with the house. This house has a sidewalk that leads to the backyard. This house is on 3rd and Easton.
Hi, my name is Breon Davis, and this is my house. This house is memories, my family, and many good times. This house is a two-family flat where my grandmother and her children live. This house has been a home to many of my family members, including me. This house is a treasure.
Hi, my name is John Smith and this is my home. This house is cozy, safe, and fun. When I first moved into this house, I was 6 years old, and the house used to be owned by a lady that everyone knew. This home is my childhood.
Hi, my name is Dion Reynolds. This house is monumental, beautiful, with plenty of history. I visited this building and made very fun memories while competing in vocal competitions here. It's connected with Wayne State and is one of the very few orange-like brick buildings in downtown Detroit.